Good afternoon. Just want to do a little check in. It's been a while. And so I want to kind of get back on here, kind of get back in the swing of things. I've had some time to kind of, focus on some of the work that I do, but also, try some different things. And so I want to get back on here and to kind of talk about some things that are happening, some things today, and just kind of do a touch base. I think it's important that we kind of gear up for what's happening politically. I think when it comes to gun rights, I mean everything's relative, right? We have candidates that are going to be pro-gun, we have candidates going to be anti-gun, and so I think it's just we've had some time off, and I'm sure it's been really really nice to not have to focus on it, but it's time to maybe get checked back in and get back to work. So we did have a lawsuit filed yesterday with Oregon Firearms Federation, Firearms Policy Coalition. They filed a lawsuit in federal court, and so that's really good news. It's for on House Bill 2005, which is the quote unquote ghost gun bill. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do something a little different because I have the way I have to do things with this. So stand by one second. I want to cover this, but I want to share this out. So give me one second. And the reason I have to do this way is because of the way Facebook has changed things. And so Facebook has changed things, and so I don't know if this is going to work. And let's see if this will work. So give me one second to kind of put this in the group, and we'll see if this will work or not. And so a lot of this is I've been away because I had a tech issue because of the way Facebook changed things. And so let's see if I can do it this way. So I'm going to put all the information into a group, and let's see if it pops up in the group, and then we'll kind of go into the topic for today. And I think the topic for today is is really important. To I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to talk about what this lawsuit looks like, how it's going to affect us going forward. And I think it's a good thing. And a lot of my biggest complaints about House Bill 2005 from the very beginning was the fact is it basically it made new definitions of parts of our firearms. It was contradictory to federal law, also ATF guidelines, and so there was some issues there. It also is a violation of the DC versus Heller Act, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not an attorney. I just play one here on Facebook, but I think it's important to note that it was a bad bill. It was skewed from the very beginning, and so the fact that we actually have a reprieve here is, I think, is a good thing. And so there's a couple different plaintiffs that are involved, which are great, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. So I want to just do a kind of a quick kind of update and kind of talk about this. So what they're trying to do is they're going to try to put an injunction in place before this thing goes into effect. I believe it goes into effect in the beginning of September. And so right here in the first paragraph, it talks about District of Columbia versus Heller. You know, what I was really excited to see is on page 8, as I was reading this, my friend Rhonda Ezell from Chicago, she was cited in this, her court case. It's the Rhonda Ezell versus the city of Chicago. It was, 10 years ago or so. And so the fact that she's named in this was pretty cool. And so that's really kind of the important thing, is to know that an injunction, what an injunction does, like similar to Measure 114, is it prevents this from actually going into effect. And so this is just kind of the preliminary salvo here. And so what they're going to do is they're going to put it in federal court, and we're hoping that depending on how that goes is what we're going to be looking at. And so there's things that we should be kind of aware of. It's funding. Everything is going to come down to funding. So we have a couple different active lawsuits. We have Measure 114 legislation that's still active in federal court, also the Court of Appeals, and so they're going to need funding there, but we're also going to need to fund this lawsuit as well. And I know Oregon Firearms Federation does have a way to, collect payment and for you to donate to help the cause there. And so, but that's kind of the way things work, unfortunately, is it costs money to fight this stuff. And so us to for us to be able to win, we have to get involved, and we have to get involved by ponying up and understanding there's people that are doing the fight on our behalf. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And so this stuff basically 2005 talks about how it criminalizes, we have the right to home build guns. It's been a storied tradition since the beginning of our founding of our country, even before that, of us building firearms. And the problem with House Bill 2005 is it talks about undetectable, well, they're talking about quote unquote ghost guns. And we're talking about ghost guns is they believe the people that wrote this and that are behind this, they think that ghost guns, they make it through metal detectors. They're completely plastic. There's no way for them to be detected. And that's not the case. That's not accurate. And I don't think that's truthful as well. I think that was a way to kind of play on the heartstrings to push this thing through. And if you remember correctly, this, we were very active in the Oregon legislature trying to stop this stuff. And it didn't, it was a fight. And basically, Floyd Prozansky, all the typical anti-gun legislators, they just rammed this thing through. Our Oregon gunners, we did show up, we did go to the hearings, we did write testimony, we testified. There's all these different things that we did on our behalf to kind of push this stuff back. And unfortunately, they didn't listen. Their minds were made up. We had to Dr. John Locke came and he testified in some of these testimony. So it was an all consorted effort where everybody was trying to work together to stop this stuff, and it just went through. And so this is a way for us to kind of push back on this. This is contrary to other precedents that have already been set, like with the DC decision, the Bruin decision, obviously Rhonda Azell versus Chicago. So there's already precedent in Supreme Court law. And so that's what's kind of disappointing here. And so, I think it's just important to note is this is just another lane that we have to try, and we have to try the part where we sue them. And that's the unfortunate thing is, I mean, all it does is cost money. And so, but if we can get the victory in court, that's going to help us in the future. And that's the only thing that we can kind of hope here. So it is important that we stay up to date. We understand, that, this is going to cost money. If we can help out, and that's kind of where we're at. And so this is just the beginning part of this. There's going to be a response probably filed by the state of Oregon, depending on whether this is either a stay is placed, or if this injunction is actually accepted. And so this is Leonard Williamson was one of the chief attorneys here. He was the one that handled the federal case on Measure 114. So he's up to the challenge. And so excuse me. I think it's just important to know it's just the beginning of this. And so it will take time, and we just got to stay up to date. So other than that, I just kind of want to touch base with you guys and kind of let you know that this is going on. What I'll do is I'll put this in the body of the video so you guys can see all of the information regarding this. I will also put this in the Facebook group, and that way you guys can kind of see, what's going on, and that way you guys can stay up to date. So other than that, I'm going to get off here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you soon. Thank you.